us not into temptation, but deliver us.
tick faster. That'll be the hour they knock the slick blaster. Dick dastardly, a monthly with sick laughter. A gunfight and they come to cut the mix master. And living the true gods, giving y'all nothing but the lick like two broads. Got more lyrics than the church got ooh lords. And they hold the mic at your attention like two swords. Or you the one with two blades on it. Hey you, don't touch the mic like it's AIDS on it.
All right. Welcome once again to the beatzillapdx official show. I am your host, beatzillapdx officially, and this is the weekly wrap up. And tonight we are just simply talking about Democrats versus reality. It seems like everything that's been happening, especially when they talk about the black vote or they address the concerns at the border, they start making up these odd arguments and talking points that are against the reality of what actually has happened and what is currently happening. But with that being said, this is a not a live video, as you guys can probably already see now. So I just want to say salute to everybody in the chat. Of course, I can't greet you right now like we normally would, but family, if you would, please hit that like button and share this broadcast out, and also Subscribe if you have not already subscribed, and hit that notification bell, hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded or premiering. And like I said, everybody who is tuned in this evening, shout out to all my members of this channel, which you can also do and be like them and join. Those are the people with the badges by their names, and their names are highlighted in green in probably most of your screens. So with that being said, peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on all of you and yours. So thank y'all for tuning in this evening. I appreciate it, family. So getting right into it, out there in New York, as you guys probably have heard, you know, there's that plan that Eric Adams is coming out defending, and they have a plan for $1 billion, $53 billion to these illegal immigrants who have flooded into the country and who have subsequently ended up in New York, and they're finding all of this money. Mind you, they have a severe homeless crisis, but they don't care about the American homeless. They care about housing immigrants. And just to let you know that this is a real Democratic ploy, even here in my own state. Here in my own state, there is, let me see if I can find that real quick. Our own governor is now speaking on behalf of housing. Now, we have had a homeless crisis here for quite some time, and there has been no effort into getting these people housed. However, all of a sudden, it is important for our governor now to get involved in helping solve this crisis that we have going on, supposedly. But let's keep it a buck. I just have to believe that there might be a little more to this than we are being led to believe. So this says, and this is from my local news here. It says, Governor Tina Kotek testifies in support of $500 million housing, $500 million housing bill. Governor Kotek said that Senate Bill 1537 is her only bill introduced in the 2024 short session, taking direct aim at Oregon's housing affordability crisis. Okay. Let's see. Governor Tina Kotek, that's Oregon governor, has begun a full court press for Senate Bill 1537, a $500 million $500 million housing package that she said would be her sole bill introduced in this year's legislative session. She testified in support of the bill at a public hearing before the Senate Committee on Housing and Development Thursday morning, and her office issued a press release touting a lengthy list of housing nonprofits, developers, and advocacy groups that have endorsed the measure. Speaking to the committee members, Kotek said the bill is based on 7 months of work with input from a range of policymakers and stakeholders, and takes a multifaceted approach to match the scale of Oregon's housing shortage. She also referenced her recent statewide listening tour, saying that people in every county brought up housing as a concern. Quote, stories were a little different, but a lot of similarities. I want to live in this community. I want to work in this community, but I don't have a place to live, she said. This is affecting our economy. It's affecting the health of our communities, and we are seeing the ultimate result of not enough housing that is affordable. And that is our homelessness crisis. Now, so far, so good, right? So far, so good. This sounds like someone speaking correct. Like this sounds good, right? What's in the bill is the question. Kotex Housing Policy Advisor Matthew Tashabold presented an overview of the bill's components at the hearing, as well as the scale of the problem. Oregon currently has a deficit of 140,000 units and needs to produce 440,000 units over the next 20 years to both catch up and meet its future needs, he said. The deficit right now is 140,000. And the units that needs to be produced are 440,000. That is humongous. That means you're forecasting a humongous boost in population. We're not seeing that kind of growth in our state. We've seen the pricing out. So when you're seeing something like this, all of a sudden out of nowhere, this isn't addressing the homeless crisis of citizens. I don't believe that's what this is about. I could be wrong, of course. I'm just speculating for myself and what I know of this place and what I know of the Democrats. This is the only bill she's pushing this year. That means that, oh man, there's a lot of space out in Oregon. Think about what they're trying to do in this bill. Within this bill right now, this border package bill that they keep ranting and raving about, it's making provisions for all of these illegal invaders to stay here when they should be deported. And that is a huge problem. And I'm looking at this, the way this is shaping up. It's not targeted at homeless. It's targeting affordable housing. Affordable housing for who, though? Are you catching that? It's real vague. It's our crisis and this and that. Yeah, but we're also seeing crises in other sanctuary cities that has not necessarily hit us like that yet. But it is hitting other places like Denver. Like, for a prime example, last week I was out in Denver, Colorado for my grandmother's funeral. And where my father was going to be staying, the city done took that hotel and made it into a homeless shelter. But they have to do something because they're also housing migrants. So this is how they're tying the homeless thing into it. You have a bunch of these illegals and they're classifying them as homeless. Therefore, they get fast tracked to hotel rooms. And these people getting provisions for food when they should be happy to be here on American soil and grateful that they are allowed to stay. But instead, they're arrogant and ungrateful. And this is who you brought into America. En masse, by the way. En masse. Now, just think of it this way. How many inmates around the United States would love to be able to tell the prison or the jail that, hey, this food isn't good enough. It doesn't fit our cultural diet. You see, so if we're going to do all of this for these people, should it not be done for the people who are in prison, criminalized? which all of these people to whom you're giving money and all these provisions to are criminals that they broke the law coming here. And none of them are being prosecuted as such, because now we got people telling you, stop calling them illegal. No human being is illegal. Yeah, a human being can trespass. That's being illegal. So it's very simple. It's cut and dry, but that's what I'm saying. It's the Democrats versus reality. They act like they are really battling Trump. You're not battling Trump for the black vote. That is not at all what y'all battling. You are battling against the black agenda, but you are definitely not battling for the black vote against Trump. Nah. Nope. And the train has left the station. No tangibles. No vote. You have people who were endorsing Democratic candidates before, trying to get away from endorsing anyone. And they're smart, because they should. Get away from anybody who is not representing you. Like these people. Because they don't care about you. What they care is about their agenda. Now, with this border bill, they're trying to make it seem like, well, see, because of Trump, the Republicans are holding it back. So they're trying to use this as a political thing. Number one, there should be nothing about the future or the stability of this government and its people that should ever be tied to a foreign government and their situation and their conflict. Those matters should never be that this is how you negotiate to get something for Ukraine or to get something for Israel, is you barter with, or you bargain with your constituents. That's a bad deal. That's a bad deal to begin with. And now all of these people who have done that, Eric Adams included, all of these treacherous bootlicks that are seen now, man, you either toed the line, which it's not going to benefit you in the end. All you're going to do is a broken career tool. Because this is it. Like, Eric Adams is not finna go be running for governor. I'm sure he probably somewhere in his mind thought that was the pathway, but no. Nah. Nope. So let me just play something, and we're going to play a few of these things, and I'm going to get to the border, what they're doing in New York. But first, let me take you to D.C. And let's hear what is going on there and what they have to say about this current migrant crisis. And also, well, not necessarily migrant crisis, but that too, but also with Vladimir Putin. Because y'all realize that the consistent anti-black supremacist, Tucker Carlson, was interviewing Vladimir Putin, and these folks is like, hey, now, wait a minute, you going around here. And I'm kind of glad he did, because it does give the American public the opportunity to hear the other side versus being told what the other side's perspective is. Now, of course, they're going to tell us, oh, well, you can't trust Putin. Can't trust him any more than we can't trust you. So with that being said, check this press conference out.
Do you have any concern that Tucker Carlson's interview with Vladimir Putin could further erode support for Ukraine aid in the United States?
We're convinced that there is strong bipartisan support on Capitol Hill for supporting Ukraine. And we know there's efforts now to bring something up onto the Senate floor for a vote that would have Ukraine, Israel, Indo-Pacific, and humanitarian assistance, so supplemental funding in it, and without the border. We'll let senators work that out. The president believes that support for Ukraine is critical, particularly right now, as Russia continues to try to hit their defense industrial base, continue to hit their units on that battlefront from east to south. It's vital, and he's confident that, and based on the meetings he's had with leaders on Capitol Hill and the discussions he's had, certainly over recent weeks. That, again, the leadership, even on the House side, the leadership is solidly in support of supporting Ukraine. Now, how they're going to be affected or impacted by a television interview, I couldn't begin to guess.
I guess I'm asking beyond just Congress, among the American people, many of whom, watch Tucker Carlson's show and are inclined already to be skeptical of American support for Ukraine. Would hearing directly from Putin potentially erode that further, not just in the halls of Congress, but among the people?
The American people know well who's at fault here. And I think they know that there was no grounds whatsoever for the invasion on February 22nd, 2 years ago. He invaded a neighboring country without provocation. Ukraine wasn't a threat to anybody, and the American people understand that. And the American people understand what Ukraine's fighting for. And all they're asking for is our help. They're not asking for American boots on the ground. Again, I don't think the American people are going to be swayed by one single interview. And I think anybody that watches that interview, now again, I haven't seen whatever's said, need to make sure remember you're listening to Vladimir Putin. And you shouldn't take at face value anything he has to say.
The elitism of these people is off the charts. And let this be a testament to the nature of some folks. They literally will put something out there in the wind that you have no way of proving, but they demand you believe it. Hasn't that kind of been the history of this country? You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that, well, hey, we're saying this, so you should believe us because we're saying it. No, I think I'll pass. And so there's the money that again, democracy hangs in the balance and democracy rides the thin line. Well, okay, if it really is true that you're so worried about democracy hanging in the balance, then why would you ever tie up Americans with foreign issues? And here's the point. Whoever the hell the strategist is of the Democrats is really, really, really doing a disservice. And like something that happened here that's going on here in my state. And I just want to show you how much these folks is in trouble. And then we're gonna get to Eric Adams' situation, and we're gonna let him explain himself. But first, okay, so I just showed you the first thing about what the governor is doing. So the governor is making this pitch about homelessness, but she's talking about the future. So it's like she's talking about a boom, because in the magnitude of the influx, the big boom in numbers that she forecasts, that's a lot of people coming here. And not only that, though, if you're talking about housing, then you're really talking about more middle class folks. See, this is what we keep saying. They have came here. It's a by design thing. And just remember,
this country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
Now, being up here in the Pacific Northwest, supremacists tend to get a little more savvy. You understand what I mean? They are way more savvy with they get down than one would ever know or understand. However, I think that Ron DeSantis little campaign and all of his antics, I think that has moved on certain folks. Because if you have noticed, you haven't heard as much woke talk. DeSantis ended up going down in flames on woke, right? Well, here again in my state, I think the rest, maybe even the Democrats, might want to take a note from the conservatives of Oregon. Because here's their ad about what has been called woke, and so it's been unrightfully so linked with CRT. However, this particular group seems to have gotten the messaging of how you should present this right. And one thing that will be very noticeable about this is instead of using woke to go after Black folks to address other things, why don't you focus on the one thing that you really know you can address without targeting Black folks? Now, just when you see this commercial, just take all in account what you're seeing and realize that this is something from the conservatives. So be clear.
Discrimination. It's a word we hear a lot. We all agree that it's wrong to discriminate. So why is it okay for the Democrats in the Oregon legislature to discriminate against the majority of Oregonian parents who do not agree with extremist gender ideology? Take SB 1583, a new bill proposed by the extreme leftist Oregon legislature, a direct affront to our shared values and the innocence of children. It declares an immediate emergency to force schools against the wishes of the people to push fringe gender and sexual identity propaganda on our kids. Some of these materials found in schools all over the country have contained pedophilic and other appalling graphical sexual depictions. It's no wonder that a recent Gallup poll shows that 20% of Generation Z identify as LGBT. That's 1 in 5, the highest number in human history. It is no coincidence, and although they gaslight and pretend like it's happening naturally, they know full well what they're doing. It's why they have focused so much effort on school curriculum, school board races, and are now pushing extremist bills that remove local autonomy over our elected school boards. The time for complacency is over. We must stand up now. They're coming for our kids at their most vulnerable. Call or email your local representative. Protest. Testify before the Oregon legislature, or submit your comments by February 13th. SB 1583 is discrimination. Our children deserve to keep their innocence. Let your voice be heard. Now is the time to stand for our kids, our parental rights, and our rights as Americans.
Somebody's been paying attention to the grassroots, haven't they? Now, I hope y'all noticed all of them black faces y'all seen. Now, and since when do conservatives come out using the word? The very first word is discrimination. So, I guess be on the lookout for this. But again, the black vote this is a business transaction. So y'all got to bring something to the table. We're not going to exchange empty gestures for empty gestures. But, just even here in this city or in this state, you're seeing conservatives take a hard hardline approach, and then say, hey, maybe we need to put some black faces on this. And so they're talking about families. You're literally seeing a black family coming from the conservatives at that. Because what has happened? Well, we know that there has always been the gender thing, especially the anti-black men sentiment coming out of the Democrats. So it's don't you find it interesting that that's the way they went? So understanding that was an agenda of the Democrats to basically, make the black man the scum of the earth, and he's the white supremacist to the black community. And I mean, you have people, these people ain't writing these articles out of nowhere. It ain't happening by happenstance. That's not the case. So I think, now a lot of things are coming to light, and people are just waking up and seeing for themselves what things really are. And it looks like the conservatives have gotten some sense about themselves to say, hey, let's take a different approach at this, because black folks are literally a voter base. You understand what I'm saying? So knowing that, okay, well, that's what DeSantis didn't bank on. Black folks are a voter base. So there's no, you're not really going to gain anything but by consistently going after us. I mean, Trump didn't really do that. That's why when you go back and look at Trump's campaign, that's why all these other so-called people of color was trying to get around black folks and like, hey, man, isn't he racist? Like, he said nothing about us. Man, he said some of those countries were S-hole countries. He ain't said nothing about us. I mean, so what do you want us to do? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want from us? Are we supposed to now step in and be your warrior class? I don't think so. Although some of these folks act like that, we are not your security guards. We're not built-in security. And we're not your mules, and we're not your paid protesters to fight your cause. Weren't you guys out here saying this? Weren't you guys out here saying that? And then as soon as some folks started getting out there talking about a ceasefire, it was all hell broke loose. Oh, you guys are just, all of you anti-Semitic. You have been groomed your whole lives to hate this group of people. Stop. Just stop. So, to this story, which, of course, is Eric Adams' plan that he's trying to defend right now, which I just don't know. I don't know how he perceives to do that. But nonetheless, let's check it out. So, New York City Mayor Eric Adams defended a program providing migrants, illegal invaders, with $53 million worth of prepaid cards on Tuesday. The mayor reportedly claimed the initiative would save the city $6.7 million per year. It would purportedly cut food supply costs for the immigrants while reducing the city's overall financial burden for migrant care. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that, what he's talking about in that video. The program would offer 500 migrants cards, providing for $12 worth of food per day, although families could receive more. Adams determined $12 worth of food per day. Who in a place that does not have a kitchen eating in New York for $12 per day? Is that, I don't know, New Yorkers, let me know. Is that possible? Or is that just subsidizing the money that they're getting already from other situations? I'm just curious. Anyway, let's see. We're giving them food cards. Let's see. We'll see more. Adams determined it would reduce waste Man, I'm sure by now y'all have seen that video of the man sitting on top of the garbage can in New York City, like he on the toilet at home. I definitely ain't playing that here, but yeah, it's out there. It's a doozy. That's what's happening in New York right now. He says, quote, "We have a pilot project with 500 people that we are giving them food cards. So instead of a debit card, instead of having to deliver food and have people eat food, we were seeing wasting food. They're now able to get their own food," he explained, according to Fox News. Oh, so this is your $50 million to wait, I didn't say 50. That's 53 million. Okay. So 53 million. So they could go eat their own food. That 53 million could go into the prison system and get our folks some better nourishment off up in there. Get them some real food. Not no expired stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they're American citizens, like it or not. Let's see. The initiative aims to give assistance to migrants awaiting work authorization. Cards would only work at bodegas. See, okay, are y'all recognizing this? So it's set up in a certain manner. So it's only going to work at bodegas, convenience stores, and supermarkets. The recipients must sign an affidavit swearing to use the funds solely for food and baby supplies. Here's the other point with that, though. You're giving a non-citizen something. What own it, or what debt do they have to this country? How do you hold them here? You ain't going to deport them. I mean, it just makes you wonder. If you get something else, we gonna talk bad about you. I mean, because you ain't gonna do nothing. Goes on, migrants would be able to refill the cards every 28 days. If the program yields positive results, Adams will support its expansion. Oh, okay. Oh, if the program yields positive results, Adam would support its expansion. Okay. An expansion. See, okay, so when they're talking like that out in New York, and then our governor out here in Oregon is talking about all of a sudden concerned about getting $500 million into housing. Are you kidding? This ain't about the citizens, family. I can guarantee you that. It goes on. The mayor's program coincides with Governor Hochul's desire to fast-track immigrants' employment processes for government jobs. The New York Department of Civil Service proposed easing requirements like English language proficiency, education verification, and certification for approximately 4,000 positions earlier this month. Now, let me also let me tell you something else that's not happening there. They not getting no background check because they don't have no social security number. So all of these people are like, so you may be coming home from jail, coming home out of prison, or shoot, who knows, just an everyday person without a record. They gonna run your name and be, oh, well, it look like your credit's kind of bad. I don't know if you can work here. Meanwhile, somebody without a social security number is waltzing right on into a government job. Oh, man. You can't spit in your citizen's face any more than that. Come on, man. Okay, so let's see. New York City has struggled to address its immigrant influx, which the mayor projects will cost the city $12 billion by the end of 2025 fiscal year. The state has also incurred a $1.9 billion price tag for its 160,000 illegal immigrants. And I think that's the end of that story. Dang. also incur 1.9 billion. And then, man, these are some outrageous numbers. And then he gonna turn it right around and be like, well, let's go give him some more. They just need more money. Come on, man. We gotta help these people out. We just can't sit up here and have all the peace. Come on. I mean, that's crazy, right? We know suffering, right? Our people have suffered, and those people are suffering, and we just can't look down. But we have to have compassion and empathy. What would Jesus do? He would tell you that Ukraine is not our responsibility. So if you are holding anything having to do with American citizens' futures in limbo because of another country, well, then you are the problem. Simple as that. So like we saying, vote for President Couch. But this dude, he tried it. See, now, there's a lot of rumors out there. People talking all these rumors, and I can't take it no more. For those of y'all who are old enough to know that song. But he also makes that reference. He also makes a reference to Colt 45. Yeah, you can't go get it. Is Colt 45 even still around? Just naming some old beer that relative to black folks. Like, Eric Adams is a real piece of work. Check out his defending this plan. Like, we didn't just see what the numbers was. Okay, let's go.
Remember that song, Where Are These Rumors Coming From? That you hear the one about Michael? Did you hear the one about Mochify? You're talking about rumors. Listen, let's get the facts. This is not an American Express card we're giving folks. It's a prepaid debit card, only for food and baby supplies, not Colt 45. This is for food and baby supplies. It puts money back into local economy like bodegas, grocery stores, and supermarkets. We don't want people buying food outside the city, right in our local economy, local hiring. Avoids food waste. People are not throwing away food because they're getting the food that they are buying and what they want. Saves more than 600,000 taxpayer funds a month, which equals $7.2 million a year. They are getting an average of $13 a day per person. It's saving us bucks. Even 50 cents agree.
Even 50 Cent agree. You don't say there, Eric. I believe that wasn't the case, that he was agreeing. Because ain't that why Joy Reid went in her car talking all wild and crazy about a successful businessman and producer such as 50 Cent? It's always amazing. You never hear, other than Donald Trump, you have to be a black man to get talked to like that publicly. I'm going to come on a platform and talk about this black man who can fandangle his business into $1 billion or 100, he's $100 millionaire, but he's made some serious bucks. And so it's really amazing to watch people come out, especially black folk. I'm ashamed you. He's a successful black man, ma'am. He's not beneath you. And think about it. Joy Reid is talking about 50 Cent. What can she buy that he can't? I wouldn't even bother asking that question in reverse. So, it's amazing, like, 50, like, you see, when you're, peep that type of energy. You hate black men so much, you can't even respect his wallet. Now, back to this New York situation. Here's another official out of New York. They are really co-signing. This is that Democratic way, family.
We have incredible candidates and frontliners running. And a little bit in response to the previous question, when you talk about when people see what's happening on the ground in their districts, that's when it really sinks in, the great work that happened under President Biden and with House Democrats last Congress.
Disaster. How delusional can you be? Oh man, everything's great. Everything's fine. We got these great candidates. They're just doing great. Just don't understand why they're not doing so great. Well, somebody posted a little clip from CNN on Twitter. And, this might be part of that problem. Check this out.
Another resident is using her motel as a sanctuary,
Can I come?
housing about 300 migrants for free.
So how many stay here? All of these mattresses?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Around 20?
Around 20 just in this one room.
Yeah.
She is like a mother to us, he says. Seriously, she gets up at 5 in the morning and cooks us breakfast. Young Prince was planning to leave Denver to retire, but when migrants started showing up at her hotel, she found a reason to stay.
My parents come from North Korea.
Your parents?
I was hungry. I was a kid. We don't have any meal for a long time. I born 52 right after war. So that's I feel them.
They've touched a certain part of you.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they've become your family.
Yeah, they are. I want to make sure they're eating.
You want to make sure they're eating, taken care of.
Oh, how heart-tugging. Who knows? Maybe that was the hotel my dad was going to stay at. I don't know. Not sure. But, it's very interesting. They keep getting these stories. Oh, let's hear this feel-good moment. Now, see, she's out here, an immigrant helping immigrants. See, then that's what they need to be doing. Because, out there in Chicago, you got a bunch of immigrants that's like, hey, we ain't them, and we working hard in this country, and we have done the play by the rules, and these people are skipping the line, and they getting handouts. It's like, yeah, and you talking about laxing rules to give people government jobs, and that doesn't go to the citizens first? Are you kidding? Now, some people will say, like we do often here, a broken clock is right at least 2 times a day. And in this instance, we have a notorious broken clock. One by the name of Stephen A. Smith. But he's a New Yorker. So he weighed in on this 53 billion prepaid card fiasco. And I'm going to just let him share his 2 cents.
So you can pick and choose. What it came down to for me is this. I see homeless folks in the streets of New York all the time that are American citizens. I damn sure see them in California. We've got poor, impoverished, starving people who were born and raised in this nation. How in the hell do we come up with a $53 million pilot program for illegals, but folks who are here legally are born here, we don't have enough of them? Just like we could come up with billions for Ukraine, but somehow, some way, we can't fix the homeless problem. I'm down for helping Israel. I'm down for helping address the situations with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, okay? I'm down for helping the Ukrainians and fighting off Russia. What about poor and desolate citizens here? How the hell do you print money for foreign countries, but you don't print that money to help eradicate folks that are starving right here in the streets of America who were born and raised here? This is what I'm talking about. And so when you have something like that, what's the one way to eradicate it? Yes, you got to have a flourishing economy. Yes, you can't have inflation. Yes, you can't be on the verge of a recession. Milk don't need to cost $7. Bread don't need to cost $5. Don't get me started with how much sugar costs. You can talk about employment all you want to. You can talk about the labor participation rate. But guess what? If you ain't making no damn money and you got to get 2 jobs to pay the same prices or to buy the same amount of stuff that you used to buy and the price is higher than it used to be because of inflation, then guess what? What are you really accomplishing? That's why Trump is on the verge of getting elected, reelected. Because when he was in office, there was a flourishing economy.
And that's the part that they hate to hear. There was a flourishing economy. Oh, man. The pandemic happened in the middle of that term. And I mean, okay, do y'all realize that there's really nothing negative that they talk about policy-wise with Donald Trump during his presidency? They cannot tell you what he did to the detriment of American citizens. He had a Muslim ban from these countries to which are flooding in here, and you got people on terrorist watch lists getting catched and released. Oh, yeah, that's a win. No, the hell it's not. What's wrong with these people? What's wrong with these people? And Joy Reid was on the view. And let me let you hear her little soundbite here. Because all of the stuff you're seeing right now, there is nothing that's going on right now that cannot be coupled with the election of this year. So everything's on the table. You got Joy Reid going off on a hot mic, so they had to go get her on the view real quick to go get in front of the people to go clean it up. And also still get out there and stomp for Biden because, you got something that started another effing war. So you understand that, oh, no, you guys are trying to propagate a war. That's why they're like, don't listen to, and Tucker's crazy. And, they don't, it's Putin. Don't listen to what he said. Putin said he had a deal ready 18 months ago. But Ukraine's leadership was advised not to take it. So imagine that. But like I said, here is Joy Reid coming on here doing a little bit of national damage control. Let's hear Joy Reid.
Can win if people vote for them. So yes, he has absolutely a chance to win. And as you said, every candidate starts out with a good 45%, and then it's a matter of the rest. The challenge for President Biden is that on the facts, the economy is far better now than it was under Donald Trump, who failed in his one job, react to a crisis. As president, you're a crisis manager. He was hit.
See, now listen to what she's saying. You can't call a shutdown and rebounding from the shutdown some kind of victory. It's not. What I need to know is what policies did he have before the beginning of COVID that were so, we were losing. Look at them. We were worse off. It's flourishing much more better under Joe Biden. Are you kidding? And it's shameful to watch this woman come out here and always just try to lead you straight to, okay, well, now we just got to listen to the boss now. We got to listen to Massa. What's wrong with you? Don't you know they don't like no trouble?
With one big crisis, the pandemic, and flubbed it so thoroughly, we were at 14% unemployment. Yeah. Yet people, I hear.
Wait, what? Okay, see, when you get into the fast, slick talking, there's some BS awry. Now, she's going to tell you that she jumped from the economy flourishing, which it's not, and then how there was no boom under it. We were in the worst situation under Trump, which we weren't. And then she just makes that weird pivot. Let me play this for you again. This is trickery at its finest, family.
He was hit with one big crisis, the pandemic, and flubbed it so thoroughly we're at 14% unemployment.
No, there was a shutdown. We didn't get to 14% unemployment because he flubbed the pandemic. No, it was 14% is because of a pandemic. The entire nation and a lot of the world was absolutely closed, shut down. Businesses went out of business because they were still getting charged rent until the rent referendum. Nobody talks about that neither. Stopping the rent and suspending rent, that wasn't under Joe Biden. And it's amazing because no one talks about that. How many people went so many months getting extra benefits on because everybody talks about stimulus checks. That wasn't just the only thing that happened during then. You had stimulus checks and unemployment because most of America couldn't work. So that in itself, getting an extra $600 in benefits, that's not stimulating the economy while there's a complete shutdown. Amazon stock went through the roof. Streaming services seen their memberships just raise. I mean, she just literally, there was a whole pandemic, and there was a whole lot of, when people say the money was flowing, the money was flowing. Now, don't act like nobody knows, because, you were still working, but for all of the unemployed Americans, they were cool. They didn't have to worry about rent, and they had, for those who had food stamps, got an extra bit of food stamps. They got, they were loaded. The American people were not scraping and scrimping. So she makes it seem like that was the case. Oh no, all of that cushion went out the window when we went back. But see, now there's inflation, and they're keep trying to make this this conversation about job creation. Well, look at all these black businesses. Okay, where are you finding these businesses? Oh, well, there's tons of them on Etsy.
Yeah. Yet I hear people died. And 1 million people died. Not even some people, 1 million people died.
You really believe we lost 1 million off of our population? If we did, we did. I can't say that I've seen 1 million graves. So my eyes haven't been able to witness that as a fact. But okay.
Died because of him. And yet you have people saying, I had more money, I was rich under Trump. Not true. Not possible.
That right there. We had more money under Trump. That's not true. See, and then they'll go right back to focusing in on the stimulus. That was Nancy Pelosi. So, okay, but who was responsible for, and again, he put his name on it as well. So, I mean, this, because he could have stopped that if it was so against it. So, well, it wasn't him. It was he was the sitting president when those stimulus checks went out, ma'am. Stop it. Just like everything you trying to give Joe Biden credit for now, which you're claiming a booming economy. Those of y'all who have been with me for a while, y'all know I told y'all this is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to act like going from a dead complete stop is some kind of progress because we've reopened, and Biden's going to try to take credit for it. And here we are. Oh man, all this job creation my programs have done. Man, let me tell you something. Then they'll tell you, see, the program never went through. You saw an initiative that they put, maybe posted on X, and this is what we're going to do, and you ain't heard no more about it. Oh, well, there's money in your city and money in your town for this and that. You just don't know about the resources there because the information and blah, 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 because you're not informed and you're so stupid. I mean, come on. Let's finish our joke read.
And the fact that he overcame his own objection to the stimmy, signed a bill Democrats passed to give you a stimmy, then took credit for the stimmy by putting a letter in the thing when you got the stimmy that said, "You're welcome, Donald Trump," even though he was against the stimmy. Yeah. And now you got people in the street saying, "Well, Trump gave me a stimmy." No, he didn't. Nancy Pelosi gave you a stimmy.
Oh my God. They are so jilted over that, like I said. But notice how they stop there. Notice how they do not talk about the national rent referendum and how that was extended under Trump. A national rent referendum. Ain't nobody paying rent nowhere in the United States at a certain period of time. Who did that? And I'm not big up in Trump for nothing, but let's keep it a buck. If you're going to give credit to where credit is due, give the man his credit. Because you didn't have all that money. Stimulus checks came and went. Them extra $600 on top of extra $600 was coming every week. I didn't see it because I wasn't unemployed. But the thing about it is, you know, it's crazy. You're coming out here literally trying to tell people they ain't saw what they just lived through. Man, like none of us know, man, you couldn't have had more money than under Trump. You act like it was 1,000,000 years ago. People know the difference on what they struggle with inflation, their bills, the rent increases and all of this. People know what they're paying. So to even take that line that hey, you guys don't understand, are you kidding? I mean, just come out and say you hate the American people. Good grief, because you most definitely got no love for folk. That much is clear. And we got these open border policies that you keep trying to shove down our throat. These folks is out here altering ecosystems and being absolutely catered to while actual citizens can't even get proper assistance because they don't have an address. That's a cold little turn, but see, well, don't worry about it. We got you. You don't have to worry about no address. What we gonna do is put you up here in this here hotel. And now you got these migrants on the loose, tearing up stuff. They done did the most out here, and ain't nothing came about punishment for these people. But you know, it is what it is. Oh, but another thing that's being pushed. The other agenda from the Democrats. This type of stuff has got to stop. And just by the way, this person is dressed clearly an immigrant. But anyway, virginity is made up. Virginity is a completely made up concept, according to a newly released Planned Parenthood video intended for middle and high school students. Mind you, this is what the Democrats are running on right now. Open borders, Kamala Harris's Blend Your Baby tour, and, you know, of course, Sleepy Joe not being able to know if he's coming or going, where he's at or not, and what day today is, because clearly he's having issues with understanding periods of time. Because and then they're telling us, oh, there's just nothing to be worried about. The hell it ain't. You have a leader, a world leader, whose faculties are deteriorating before the entire planet. And then the only folks who are in denial is the people who have to sit there and look at it. I seen a video of Kamala Harris trying to, she had to like try to direct Joe Biden, and she looked like a caretaker. She looked like a caretaker. I mean, no, not there, Joe. No, over here, Joe. This way, Joe. She over here having to guide him. I mean, it looked weird. It looked like a nurse at a nursing home, which is probably where he should be. I mean, yeah, I'm an elderly man. Yeah, you know, I'm elderly. I'm old. I mean, hey, I'm old. Pretty soon that's going to be happening. You know, I'm here with the American people. Wait for it. And when y'all see that, if I ain't posting it, nothing, tag me in it, because y'all heard it here first. I'm not so sure that he could make it to the election without dozing, standing up. Like, he might very well doze off. And it all of this that's going on, it makes even more sense. Remember when he fell off that bike? It's like, okay, here's the photo op. You got him coming, he's going to ride across the street on this bike. And it's like, oh, that's about as much as he could give you. He couldn't even stand up straight. This man is not in good health, clearly. But don't take my word for it. Check out him speaking before the people.
Says that he has ordered the IDF.
Hostage negotiation. Look. I'm sorry. I'm of the view, as you know, that the conduct of the response in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, has been over the top. I think that, as you know, initially the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate. I talked to Bibi to open the gate on the Israeli side. I've been pushing really hard to get humanitarian assistance into Gaza. There are a lot of innocent people who are starving, a lot of innocent people who are in trouble and dying, and it's got to stop, number one. Number two, I was also in a position that I'm the guy that made the case that we have to do much more to increase the amount of material going in, including fuel, including other items. I've been on the phone with the Qataris, I've been on the phone with the Egyptians, I've been on the phone with the Saudis to get as much aid as we possibly can into Gaza. There are innocent people, innocent women and children who are also in badly in need of help. And so that's what we're pushing.
Money
very
everywhere
hard now
around
to deal with this hostage ceasefire. Because, as I've been working tirelessly in this deal. How can I say this without revealing it? To lead to a sustained pause in the fighting, in the actions taking place in the Gaza Strip. And because I think if we can get the delay for that, the initial delay, I think that we would be able to extend that so that we could increase the prospect that this fighting in Gaza changes. There's also negotiations. You may recall, in the very beginning, right before Hamas attacked, I was in contact with the Saudis and others to work out a deal where
you were
they would
acting
recognize
because
Israel's
you had
right
come to the
exist,
conclusion that the
make
United
them
States,
part of the Middle
through
East,
NATO,
recognize them fully,
might
in return for certain things that the United States would commit to do. And the commitment that we were proposing to do related to two items. I'm not going to go in detail, but one of them was to deal with the protection against their arch enemy to the northwest, northeast, I should say. The second one, by providing ammunition and material for them to defend themselves. Coincidentally, that's the time frame when this broke out. I have no proof what I'm about to say, but it's not unreasonable to suspect that the Hamas understood what was about to take place and wanted to break it up before it happened.
Well, see, he's explaining he wants to send more money all over these other places. And when in an election year, he has nothing to offer to the people. Nothing. Just we're watching billions go out the door. And then in the midst of, so I mean, let's just see how much, let's think about this way. The country shut down. Businesses are closed. People cannot go to work. Mass unemployment. Trump's solution, put money in people's pockets. So stimulus checks, and then, okay, and even if you want to say, oh, that's Nancy Pelosi. Okay, for all of them, I guess, if you want to call it that. But what going to the rent referendum, and then also the extra, was it $600 something a week that people were making with unemployment, and then those unemployment benefits were extended. So with a halt on paying rent, and then a lot of people that were getting food stamps, they got a whole extra kick on their food stamps. So I mean, literally, there were a lot of people who during the pandemic was kind of cool. And then you want all of them people to sit up here, oh, well, I don't see how you were comfortable then. I mean, because they have money in their pockets. And there is no way to talk around having money. These people know see, here's the thing. The Democrats have a dilemma of the comfort of finance that Black folks, poor Black folks, was able to actually experience for a brief period of time in 2020. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at a brief moment of comfort because of finance. And there's nothing wrong with it, but it is what it is. And these people out here, boy, when it comes down to telling it like it really is, although they can't stand that. They cannot stand that. They do not like the truth. I heard somebody say, it was at Parker's on the Go, says there's a loud lie, a quiet lie, and hard truth. Because the people, when they do certain things out here, these people should be made to fix it and correct these things publicly. You come out against the folks, you come out against the family, you come out against black empowerment. And a lot of these Boule and these other just Sambo coons, they advocate for stuff like this. Advocate for all of our energy going somewhere else. Like this.
Buck dancing, shuffling, scratching, bootlicking, bamboozling, Uncle Tom Negro.
And we absolutely have to call out all of their treasonous behavior. And this is why the Democrats will lose in 2024, November this year, because it is all about no tangibles, no vote without a Black agenda. Don't come hollering at us. But you need to support this. You need to support that. We only need to tell you that Ukraine is not our responsibility. And right now you are showing the American public that you are willing to jeopardize the government being shut down for other countries' interests. And so you can fast track and naturalize all of these illegal immigrants that we have seen invade our borders, that you are now trying to give government jobs. To that, I thoroughly say, no thanks. Babylon has fallen. Babylon has fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. And you understand, family, that we cannot trust these boule folks. And more importantly, we can't trust people like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, because always remember,
a lot of white folk have demonstrated eloquently that they don't have no sense.
And so there's that part. And so these people might be coming around pretty soon. You know, it's coming. The election is getting closer. We're in February now. So, okay, the black man voting. And, you know, see, Russia is trying to influence the black man, and the black man's disinformation and lack of knowing how politics works. Then, you know, see, they're just getting distracted. They're listening to all these people out here on the internet. Man, please. No, people got two eyes and two ears and a brain and can perceive all of the truth that is being laid out in front of them. Because, see, for us over here, we understand the mission, which is...
To put it in the frame of reference, everyone, when they talk about racism and white supremacy, should always start by saying that the focus, the objective should be replace white supremacy with justice. Those are the 5 basic words.
Facts. Replace that system with the system of justice. If you can't follow that point from our good elder Neely Fuller, I don't know what to tell you. But if you feel that you could discourage us and deter us from our mission, well, I got news for you. And better yet, I have something for you. I, Beatzilla PDX official, Beatzilla PDX official show, those of you in the chat, the grassroots and the voices of new black media, I'm pretty sure I can say I speak for all of y'all when I tell these folks out here that we proudly dedicate this song to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BeatZillaPDX. And you can also email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket, you can definitely do so by way of CashApp, which is $BeatZillaPDX. That is CashApp, $BeatZillaPDX. And we also have PayPal, which is Zilla Music. That is ZillaMuzak. And family, always remember, hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the weekly wrap up for this week. Yes, indeed, shorter than normal, but you know, hey, I think we got it in efficiently this evening. So hopefully everybody has a great, prosperous weekend, safe weekend at that. Always remember to keep your 3 smooth stones and your slingshot nearby. Stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. Peace.
When you know who Satan is,
Yes, sir.
you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth See, that's what you throw. Right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.